Welcome to the YThrive home workout. My name is Daniel and I'm one of the personal trainers at the YMCA. Here I have Scott. So today we're going to be going over a full body exercise circuit. So if you want more of a cardiovascular type challenge or aerobic challenge, we're going to minimize those rest periods, okay? So I'll let you decide that at home. Some equipment that we're going to need today and take you to what we need is some weights. So a weight selection where you can opt for a lighter set or a heavier set, a chair for an elevated or modified surface, a mat for comfort, and also a towel or a glider if you have it. So I'm going to take Scott through a warm-up here. So how this exercise video is going to work is I'm going to be the trainer. I'm going to show all the modifications and options, whereas I want you to follow along with Scott for the workout, okay? Here we go. Let's get our heart rates up, Scott. And throughout the workout, we want to make sure that we're staying hydrated throughout. So please have a water bottle nearby and handy. Nice. So here we're warming up our hips for 30 seconds. Yeah, and you can add some walking to it too. Nice. Let's go into hamstring sweep. So we're going to sweep our hamstrings and dynamically stretch the back side of our legs. Nice and tall and long. Let's coordinate our breath. All right, Scott's going to go into the world's greatest stretch here. We're mobilizing our spine and opening up our hips as well. What's great about this warm-up is that it also warms up our ankles and major joints, even our shoulders. And just to get your heart rate firing a little bit more here, we're just going to finish with some seal jacks. Come on back up, and we'll do some seal jacks. Nice. We're opening up the chest, we're opening up our shoulders on this. Awesome, great job, Scott. All right, so into the first exercise of our workout. So we're gonna start with in terms of the scheme, we're gonna start with a 16, 12, and 10. So for this first exercise, we're gonna do 16 repetitions, take a break, go into 12. So this is a descending ladder. So we're gonna start with a thruster, supersetted with a row. So the thruster is gonna work on our legs, core, and shoulders. And then we're going to come in and superset it with a row. So as Scott comes down, he's going to come into more of a bent position and row from his back muscles. So this here is the thruster. We're staying nice and tall here. You can opt for a bit lighter weight. But we're really making sure that our core is stabilizing so that our spine stays neutral and our pelvis is in a posterior tilt. So we don't want to be tilting our pelvis too far forward. Awesome job, Scott. So we're supersetting that. Nice. So what Scott's doing here that's awesome is he's got a bent over position. His knees are very soft, so he's not straining his hamstrings. And he's rowing and pulling his elbows towards the ceiling. So that's the goal here. Notice how Scott isn't hyperextending his neck, he's just looking straight ahead. That way it keeps his spine in good alignment. Awesome job. So that's first set down. So we're going to go into 12. Bit of a break here, Scott. Awesome job. And if you find that this variation is a bit challenging, you don't have to go as deep. So with Scott here, I'm going to come into partial and press it up. And you don't have to go as fast as well. Down, half, and up. Good job. And then we're going to superset with the row. Awesome. So I don't have to be bending or hinging as much as Scott. I can come up a bit more shallow. That way it takes tension off of my back. But I'm still pulling the elbows towards the ceiling and engaging the shoulders or the back of the shoulders. So we're gonna finish with our last set here. 10 reps left. How you doing?
Oh, good.
Awesome. How's that heart rate?
Getting up there.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember you can take a drink whenever you need. But we've got a long break after this, so stay with me here. Let's go, 10 reps. Another option here, if you want to regress this further, is we're going to do it body weight and reach. So key areas to watch for here is we want to watch out for rounding of our spine and our upper body when we're squatting. Okay, just watch out for that. Same thing here. With gravity acting on us and the weight in front, it wants to pull us out of our good alignment. We got to resist that, and that's when our core is engaged, okay? Nice job, Scott. And as you can tell, Scott is breathing heavily, and that's what we want. We want that breath. We don't want you to hold your breath. Grab a drink. So we're going into our longer break, so I'd like you to rest up to 2 minutes maximum before going to your next workout. But what we're doing here is I'm going to demonstrate to Scott and you guys out there is we're going to go with the side lunge and then curtsy. Okay? So side lunge here, weight into this leg, and then we're going to bring our other leg up and the knee, this knee goes behind the front knee. And then we're coming back up. So we're going to side lunge into a curtsy. And an option here is you can hold weight like Scott, or you can have a towel, or if you have a glider, that's an option. So for this exercise, it's going to be my stance leg working. So this is my left leg. We're going to side lunge here, and then we're going to come around into a curtsy. So nice and tall, side lunge here, into a curtsy.
Okay.
Feeling good?
Yeah, good dumbbell.
Okay, sounds good. And we're going with 16 in total. That means 8 each side. Awesome. And notice how Scott is nice and long. He's relying and loading his hips. His hips load first, then his knees. Awesome, good alignment. And we're bracing our core through every rep. An option here is to not go as deep, stay shallow as well when you get fatigued. Especially when you're fatigued, we want to maintain that quality. We still don't want that quality to drop. Ooh. All right, nice work. Short rest here before we go into the next exercise, which involves our push-up. Okay. We're going into the push-up next. Okay. As you can see, Scott's going with a T push-up. So he's pushing up. As he comes up, he's rotating and he's reaching towards the ceiling. That works our core muscles. Notice how his hands are stacked below his shoulders. We're going shoulder width apart. And an option here would be to come down, making sure that the chair is pushed up against the stable surface. We're going to do a modified push-up. So we're coming onto our knee here, stacking our joints. We're pushing and coming up. Pushing and coming up. And you can still rotate with the chair. Okay, pushing, coming up, rotate towards the ceiling. For 16 reps. Good job, Scott.
That's hard.
All right, rest here, and then we're going to come back to our side lunge and curtsy. So key points of the side lunge and curtsy is that our knees will need to always track with our toes. So this time it'll be 6 on each side, okay, Scott? All right. Nice work. And we want to make sure that our heels stay flat on the ground because that's where we're going to transfer the force and get our power from, okay? So we don't want to be lifting onto our toes or vice versa, lifting onto our heels either. This is some single leg action, very functional to daily life, right? Bit of a stability and balance challenge. Nice job. For our next push-up modification that I'm going to show you, Scott's going to continue doing his repetitions, but we're going to come into a push-up position, and after we push up, we're shoulder tapping. Push up and tap. Or you can incorporate 2 taps. So after every push-up, you can tap twice and come down. Okay? Or vice versa. Nice. So in the shoulder tap variation, we're owning that plank position, and we want to minimize any hip dumping side to side. We want to minimize that. We want to keep the hips square and pointed like laser beams down to the ground. Okay? Good job. Let's keep that head neutral. Good job. All right, we got one more. And just to clarify for the push-up, when we're doing 12, we're going for 12 push-ups, but that ends up being 6 rotations, right? Keep that in mind. Last set.
10.
Yeah. Home stretch. Okay, side lunge into curtsy. Another modification or progression that you can use for this one is we can use a shallow step into a back step. Shallow step, load that leg into a back step before we proceed into lunging, right? So we want to build our confidence and our confidence with the movement before going any deeper, because we want to ensure that you're controlling it first. Nice. Considerations with this exercise is if you're having the weight option, it becomes part of your body. We don't want that out in front, and we don't want that traveling side to side. We want it part of your weight as well. Awesome. So any of those modifications for your last round of push-ups, okay? So we've got the knee or the incline push-up. We've got the body weight push-up with our T push-up with rotation, and we've got our shoulder taps as well. So any of those options, okay? Well done. Great alignment. So another challenge is you can make your feet narrow, and if you want more stability, we're gonna go with a wider stance or base of support, okay? Nice. Okay, pushing up. Elbows are pointed at a 45-degree angle. Awesome. Well done. Grab a drink. So now we're going to finish off with a core exercise. We're going to be doing the bird dog. So I'm going to grab that. So in this core exercise, we're not necessarily going for amount of reps. Okay, we're going for breaths. So each time you breathe, I want you to bring your opposite arm, opposite leg towards the opposite wall. So we're not going for height, we're actually going for length. So we're lengthening our spine, coming back in. So as you can see, knees should be stacked below the hips, the wrists, elbows, and shoulders stacked below each other as well. So to challenge Scott a bit more here, I'm going to ask him to hold for a second before coming in on each position. So this one we're going for 8 breaths. And you can always go for more or go for less. Nice. And we'll do one more set. Okay. Whenever you're ready, we can go into the next one. And I'll show you two modifications on the bird dog. Okay? So to build familiarity with the bird dog, we could go one limb at a time. Okay? Or we can elevate. So we lift our knees up and we elongate from here. So that's an option as well. And shakiness is okay, that's normal. Okay? Awesome job. Alright, so we're just going to finish off with two stretches. So we're going to start with the pretzel. So we're going to cross our left leg over with our right arm, over top that leg, and then we're going to use the the other hand to grab that bottom leg. And we're going to hang out here for 4 to 6 breaths, so just really drag that out. And here we're just in a recovery zone, so we're trying to bring our breathing rate and our heart rate back to normal. How are you feeling?
Good now.
Awesome. And switching sides. The goal here is to really pull the shoulder blades down to the ground and keep that spine neutral as you twist in your lower body. Great for your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes. Alright, and we're coming into a standing position. So we're going into a figure 4. So this is 2 stretches in one, okay? So we're putting our right ankle over our left knee, and we're sinking our hips down and back as we cross our arms. The goal when we cross our arms is not to pull our shoulder blade out of its socket, but to keep that engaged. So we're using that resistance to stretch our shoulders. And switching sides after 4 to 6 breaths. So as we sink into this figure 4, our glutes are getting a nice deep stretch. Awesome. Yeah, well done. So that's it for our home workout of the day. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks.